By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
Welcome to another episode of Timmy Talks, the channel where we talk old school Magic. And today we are in Tokyo, Japan for a match between the deck versus UW Skies. And this is played according to the Eternal Central rules. Just a little refresher, what does that actually mean? It means 4 strip mines, mana burn is real, and we have Fallen Empires. Although I wonder if we really have Fallen Empires in these two decks, but more about that of course in a moment when I jump into the deck text. But before I do so, first a quick message from our sponsor 3for1 Trading. 3for1 Trading is one of Europe's leading Magic the Gathering retailers. Their online shop has a fantastic selection of high-end Magic cards, especially for vintage, legacy, and yes, old school Magic players. They now exclusively offer my community free, fully insured and fast worldwide shipping on all their high-end singles, full sets, and out-of-print sealed products. They upload new cards every Wednesday and have weekly sale offers and reductions waiting just for you. Use my code TIMMY to get free worldwide shipping on your first order over $500 or euros. Have fun ordering those cards, and thank you 3for1 Trading for sponsoring this video. And we are back and ready to dive into the deck text, and I'm going to start with the player on the left. His name is Ham and he's playing the deck. Let's have a look. And here we see the deck of Ham. So this is the deck, right? And the deck wants to win through card advantage. It's mainly blue and white. It's a very strong control deck. And as you can see, it's got 3 Jam Day Tomes, which are quite important because they are going to give him that card advantage. It's got the best removal in the game, the best answers in the game. Disenchant, Swords to Plowshares, Counterspell, Mana Drain. Of course, it's playing with all the power. And then to finish the game, it usually uses Mishra's Factories, but we don't, well, we do see them in here. There are 3 Mishra's Factories, but what I wanted to say is in Eternal Central, of course, with 4 strip mines, it's harder to pull that off, so that's probably the reason why he's also playing with at least 2 Fireballs. I'm not quite sure what that other card is, the other red card right next to that other Fireball, perhaps another Fireball, maybe a Lightning Bolt, and we also see 2 Sarah Angels to kind of try to finish the job. Another card that's kind of missing from the main 60 is Disrupting Scepter. You used to see that a lot in the decks, but in here we don't see it. We do see it in the sideboard. Talking about the sideboard, it's a little bit unclear, but I believe that all the way on the right side, the last 3 cards in each row, they're a part of the sideboard. So we've got 3 Red Elemental Blasts, 3 Blue Elemental Blasts, a Lightning Bolt, and then interestingly enough, 2 Sylvan Libraries in the sideboard. So I wonder when he will board those cards in. That's a card you don't often see in the deck. And then we also see Circle of Protection Black, Circle of Protection Red, the Disrupting Scepter that I talked about earlier. We see Wrath of God and 2 Dusts in the sideboard. So yeah, the deck, a very strong deck. Of course, it is maybe a little bit wonky with the mana. If we look at the mana base, if you would play a Blood Moon against this, I think you have a problem. And of course, again, this is a format with 4 strip mines, so that could be challenging for Ham here in this match. Then again, he's played this deck the whole day and made it all the way to the final, so it's probably not really a big deal for him. Anyway, this is the deck of Ham. Now let's take a look at the deck of his opponent. And here we see the UW Skies deck of Sento, and UW Skies of course refers to the flying creatures in this deck. So we see Surrender Befried, a full playset, and a full playset of Sarah Angels. Those are the creatures that have to do it here for Sento, and UW of course refers to the blue and white colors of the deck. We don't see any other colors, so I kind of like that. I always like it when people stick like to 2 colors, they don't splash stuff in. It soothes me somehow. I even go that far that I usually don't even play off-color Moxen, although that's pure madness because the Moxen are so good, especially in a deck like this, where for example a Sarah Angel has a casting cost of 2 white and 3, so those 3 are way easier to pay with your Mox mana. The same thing goes for Surrender, right? 1 blue and 2. Again, use your Mox power early game to get them out. He's also playing with 2 Armageddons here. So of course, if he can get an early Surrender, he can try to lock the game with an Armageddon. He's also playing with 2 moats. Moats will of course protect him from ground forces. I think in this matchup against the deck, I mean, moat will only help you against the Mishra's Factories, that's it, but it will not help you against the Fireball. Then again, he's got, of course, counterspells against the Fireball, because just like his opponent, he's playing with that blue-white control skeleton, you know? Like the counterspells, Swords to Plowshares, the Mana Drain, and of course the whole blue power. Then you've got your Brain Geyser as well to draw extra cards. Like, white and blue is such a strong combination, and I think in a lot of old school decks, you see that white-blue core, and then it's surrounded with some other stuff. But usually the white-blue core is quite essential to a lot of top decks in old school Magic. Anyway, this is the deck here of Sento. We looked at the deck of his opponent, and that means we are ready for the finals of their meetup. Let's go. Game number 1, here we go. So on the left we have Ham. He's playing the deck. I believe he's on the play. Look at that, Library of Alexandria turn 1. He's playing against Sento, and Sento's playing UW Skies. There is a quick strip mine here on the library. And there, ooh, look at that time walk here for Ham. So he's going to take an extra turn, playing a Volcanic Island, passing the turn. Let's see what Sento can do in his second turn. There's an island, tapping 2. There's a Felwar Stone, and passing the turn. There we see a Mishra's Factory and a pass. Can Sento maybe play out one of his flying creatures? For example, a Serendip Ifrit. He's playing a Soul Ring first. So he's got a lot of mana. And there we see a Strip Mine stripping away the Tundra here. Then tapping 3. There we see the Serendip Ifrit. So 3/4 flyer from Arabian Night. So that can start dealing some damage. Do we see Swords to Plowshares from Ham? Nope, just a pass. So he's going to take a damage here. So Sento will drop to 19. There's the attack. And Ham here will drop to 17. There we see a Plains. Very cool basics here. There we see a Sarah Angel. Oh, we see a mana drain. Very important mana drain here for Ham. And of course, now he gets 5 extra mana. Can he do something with it? It looks like he's going to pump it all into the Mishra's Factory. Mishra's Factory, of course, a great outlet for your mana. Remember, we're playing Eternal Central, meaning mana burn is real. So it's really important here that he can dump that excess mana into his Mishra's Factory. There's the pass. So Sento here taking a damage here. Going to go to 16. There's the attack. And Ham dropping to 14. Ooh, there's another Sarah Angel. This is, of course, the altered version with the Time Elemental. Yeah, no counterspell here, so this is an issue. There's the attack. And Sento's going to take the damage. Doesn't want to run into a Lightning Bolt. There's another Factory, passing the turn. Another damage for Sento, going to 13. But now he can attack for 7. Look at him go, attacking for 7. That is halving Ham's life total, unless, of course, he has a Swords in hand or another way to get rid of one of the 2 attackers. No, he's just eating the damage here, dropping to 7. Oh, it's looking pretty bad for Ham here. Looks like Sento is simply going too fast in this game. Does he have more pressure to put on the board? Kind of rearranging his mana base here. There we see a Gem Day Tome for Sento. There's a quick disenchant on end step. And taking his turn. But of course, a problem for Ham here are those 2 flying creatures on the side of Sento. It's going to animate both. Going in full swing. Sento not taking a risk, just taking the damage, dropping to 9. And next turn could be a win. It is a win here. He's picking up the card. So Sento here winning a game number 1 with his UW Skies deck. And now both players are going to dive into their sideboards, and we will catch back up with them in game number 2. Game number 2, here we go, and we see Sento taking a mulligan here, and of course Ham on the play, starting with a Volcanic passing to turn Tundra and a pass from Sento. There we see, look at this, what a turn, Black Lotus, Sapphire, and a Strip Mine. Sento has to rebuild, doing that quite well here with a Mox and a Duel, passing the turn back. Of course, the problem for Ham here is that he's not finding any threats. There is a Sarah Angel there in hand. Could decide to sack the Lotus for the Sarah, but then if you run into a Swords, it's always a bit of a bad feeling. Also has, of course, that Factory in hand. Could just play Factory, that's it. He is going to go for it, sacking it. Oh, he's got a Brain Geyser. Yeah, that's a better choice, obviously. Because then you can use that Black Lotus to draw 3 extra cards. There's an Emerald hitting the board, passing the turn. It looks like there's a Sylvan in hand as well for Ham. So that came in from the sideboard. Look at this. Talking about sideboard. Dust to Dust doing work for Sento. Taking care of 2 powerful artifacts here. 2 Moxen. And they're removed from the game. And there we see a Tundra passing the turn. We do see a mana drain there in hand for Ham. There's a Felwar Stone for Sento. Both players still on 20. Haven't taken a single point of damage. There's another factory here. I wonder if he's going to animate. It's always risky, right? You can run into a disenchant or a swords. Could also consider just keeping the lands around. Probably wants to go up to 5 to cast at Serra Angel. Passing the turn here, and there's just a duel and a pass. So both players kind of building up. Here's that Pearl. Could consider playing the Serra. It does mean, of course, that he has to tap out and he will not have counter magic. He's going to go for the Serra. There's a counter spell, though. Countering it away here by Sento. And now Sento has an opening. Look at this Armageddon. Wiping the board clean, but of course he's also losing a bunch of lands here, so both players forced to rebuild. There's a Volcanic passing the turn. Okay, there's a Black Lotus. Cannot use it though to, for example, cast Serra Angel. There's also a pass here from Ham, so Sento not finding any lands, it seems, passing the turn. There's another duel. There's a pass. There's an island. Now remember that Felwar Stone can also make a blue here for Sento, so he's got 2 blue to potentially counter. Here we see a tropical island. Tapping 2. There we see that Sylvan Library that came in from the sideboard here for Ham, but the counter spell by Sento. So Sento really countering the threats away here. And it is interesting to see a player who's playing the deck and is also playing with Sylvans. It's quite interesting. Could work. There's another island here for Sento and a pass. Ham having another Sylvan in hand, by the way. I mean, could decide to just go for it. Sento already played 2 counterspells this game, and I believe he's playing with 4 counterspells and a mana drain, so only has 2 counterspells and 1 mana drain left. There he goes, another Sylvan. There's a disenchant though, yeah. That's the thing. It's of course an enchantment, so you can also disenchant it, so that means that Sento has like 8 answers to the Sylvan. 9 actually, 5 counterspells and 4 disenchants, I believe. Anyway, there's the pass. Let's see what Ham can do. Yeah, both players, of course, having a lot of answers in their decks. Way more answers than threats. Here we see a regrowth. I wonder if he's going to regrowth the Sylvan. He is going to get back to Sylvan. Doesn't have any green mana, though, to play it out. So it just passes the turn here. Yeah, interesting. Could have gone, for example, for the Brain Geyser as well, but chose to go for the Sylvan instead. Here we see a Soul Ring by Sento and just a pass, I believe. Yeah, this game 2 is already very different than game 1. Game 1, of course, we saw Sento really being the aggressor. But now it's both players kind of answering all the threats. There's a disenchant, so that's going to take out the Felwar Stone. So that's always an interesting choice, right? That you're not going, for example, for the Black Lotus here. It's going for the Felwar Stone, really attacking that double blue option for Sento. So Ham playing out here the Sylvan again. So really build that up, right? First disenchanted the Felwar, then stripped the other blue source. Then he played the Sylvan thinking, okay, if you want to counter it, you will have to sack your Lotus for it. It's going to be at a hefty cost. And Sento decided not to, playing the strip, passing the turn. And now, of course, oh, look at that, taking 8 damage, dropping to 12. I want to say now, of course, Ham can use that Sylvan. Look at the top 3 cards, chooses to draw them all. And there's another strip here, stripping away the island for Sento. So Sento's out of blue mana. And there we see a Chaos Orb. Could even consider flipping that orb on the Black Lotus. I wouldn't have been surprised, but decided not to. There we see, of course, a strip here being used by Sento. Take care of the Volcanic Island. Sento has that Serra Angel in hand. Could play it. Ooh, is going to go for Disrupting Scepter instead. Also a card coming in from the sideboard. Yeah, this is interesting. So the Scepter on board. So Scepter, I believe 3 and tap. Then your opponent has to discard a card. The thing though is your opponent can choose what they want to discard. And he is going to flip on it. Look at that. Unfortunately, our camera angle is not great. That looked like a very interesting technique. It's a hit. And I have to say, it's looking good for Ham, you know. I mean, yes, he's on 12. He's on the lower life total. But he's got that active Sylvan. And he's really done a great job at destroying the board here of Sento. So looking at a City of Brass, a Mox Jet, and I believe a Swords to Plowshares there as the top 3 cards. Going through his graveyard here, perhaps has a recall in hand. Yeah, if you have a recall, I would definitely consider bringing back the Brain Geyser, right? Also has a Time Twister in hand, could also choose to Twister. Could go for Mox Jet, drop the Jet, Twister. Then again, if you Twister, you're helping Sento getting back into the game, right? Sento only 2 or 3 cards in hand, no land, so it's probably not a good idea to Twister here. But yeah, really in the tank here. It looks like he's thinking about a Twister and perhaps a recall. And I'm thinking about a recall. Oh, look at that again, taking all the cards. I believe he's on 4 now. Wow, he's taking 16 damage from his Sylvans alone. I love it, man. Ham is taking the risks, and I like it. Now, he now has to have a follow-up, of course. I mean, those swords are in this matchup so far kind of dead cards. Yeah, he does have a recall. Is he going to use his City of Brass? Then he would even drop to 3 here. Oh, man. This is crazy stuff. Going through the graveyard again, trying to determine what he wants to get back. Can, of course, also go for the Black Lotus here. It looks like he wants to go for Sarah Angel and Brain Geyser. Yeah, he's going to tap everything, dropping to 3. Oh, man. I love it. I love how he's playing here. The risk that he's taking, he's just going for it. And I'm not used to see this from the deck players. Usually they're way more conservative. So we see Time Walk here being put in the graveyard as one of the cards that he used to recall the other 2 cards. There we see a Library of Alexandria, not relevant yet. I believe 3 cards in hand for Sento. Now remember, only 3 life left for Ham. So he's got to be very careful here. I would put that City of Brass, exactly, I would put it away. You don't want to use that anymore. Tapping 5, there's a Sarah Angel 4/4 flyer. No answer from Sento. This is really important. Okay, he is second the Lotus. 2 floating. There's the Swords to Plowshare. So Ham is going to go back up to 7. Has 2 floating yet. Now remember, this is with Mana Burn. So if he can't use it, he's going to take the damage. Does have an Armageddon there. Could consider playing the Armageddon. Yeah, he's going to go for Armageddon here. Wow. Destroying all the lands again. And what a great turn for Sento here, right? Destroying the Sarah, destroying all the lands for Ham. And Ham is back to square 1, but he's on 7. Because of that aggressive use of the Sylvan. Taking a strip, passing the turn. And also Ham now passing the turn. Believe there's an Ancestral Recall there, but no blue source, of course, for Ham. Yep, there's a recall being drawn and passing the turn here. So 5 cards, or 4 cards there for Sento. Sento also just passing the turn, looking for lands probably. Cannot do much with that Mox Jet for black and the 2 colorless from the Soul Ring. There we see a Mind Twist. I mean, the Mind Twist, I mean, he does have the Mox Jet. He just needs to find some lands, but the same thing goes for Sento. So both players looking for lands, having very powerful hands actually, but not the lands to do anything with them. Also Sento just passing turn. Having 6 cards in hand now already. Yeah, this is... Okay, there's a Mox. Could consider twisting for 3. I mean, I don't know. I would consider doing it, to be honest. He cannot counter. I mean, then again, you can maybe wait because you've got your strip mine as well. So he's not going to play out anything soon, I guess. I mean, maybe if Sento finds like a Mox Sapphire from the top, it could go, you know, Sapphire into... Oh, he's going to take an extra card, it seems. Going to go do 3. And then playing out the Geode Tome. Oh, man. I like Ham's playstyle. Sento drawing another card. 7 cards in hand. That's pretty insane. And remember, Sento's still on 20. He's going to draw an extra card. And then look at the top. Okay, so he's going to look at the 4. I'm not sure if it works this way. Because you draw a card right before you go into your draw phase with your Gem de Tome, right? You draw that card and then you look at the top 3. Discarding 2 cards, your Red Elemental Blast. And look at that, he's discarding that Brain Geyser again that he picked up earlier in the game. I mean, Hom, his playstyle is very interesting. He's on 3, he's going to draw another card. Okay, so he's doing this again. So let me know in the comments below if it works like this. If it does, it's pretty cool. Because then he can just look at the top 4 cards instead of the top 3 cards with that Gem de Tome. Kind of using it as you would normally see when you have a Howling Mine in the game. And if I track the life total correctly, he's on 3, so he can't really draw any extra cards. Again, discarding cards. And look at that Sento not finding lands, also just discarding stuff. So Serra Angel going to the bin. And I think if you're Hom, you know, you kind of got to feel that pressure of, okay, I need to put something on the board to start dealing damage to Sento. I cannot afford to let Sento get back into this game because I'm on 3, you know. There's a disenchant really good here on the Soul Ring. Okay, there's the City of Brass. I would strip the City of Brass on site. Like, then again, if you do that, you can no longer use the Gem de Tome. And I think that's exactly what Hom was thinking of as well, right? Because you could see he wanted to strip and then thought, oh, wait a minute. I need 4 mana for my Tome. Now he's got the 4 mana, so he can actually strip. I would be really tempted now to just strip that City of Brass away, you know, then you still have 4 left for your Tome. Look at that passing the turn, though. There's a strip. There's a Surrender Befreed and Sento finally taking a point of damage. There we see the Red Elemental Blast countering the Surrender, and he's going to draw a card here. And then, of course, we're going to go to untap, upkeep, and draw phase with that Sylvan. Picking up his 1 card with the Sylvan. But I mean, 3 mana here. It's not great. Okay, there's the Library of Alexandria. That is quite good. Now remember, Sento, of course, has that Strip Mine. At least he can use it here for one card. Can dig a little deeper. There's a Time Walk taking an extra turn. Okay, okay. This is looking quite good for Hom, but the question still is, can he put a threat on the table? And what is he going to do with the lands on the side of Sento? Again, I would be very tempted to strip the city. There's no need for it now, but before passing the turn, I would be. Of course, depending on what's in his hand as well. There's the Soul Ring. Okay, the Soul Ring is great. There's another land. Look at all the lands, the luxury. Oh, he's going to tap it down. What's he going to do? There's yeah, of course. There's that Mind Twist he still had. Oh, he was working towards the Mind Twist. And then, of course, it doesn't matter how much mana Sento has. If he loses all his cards, this Mind Twist could be decisive here in game number 2. Remember, Hom, of course, a game down, so needs to win this to stay in it. Going through the graveyard. And the graveyard's quite an impressive pile. Yeah, this is pretty devastating here for Sento. Really needs a good top deck here. Asking about the lands, of course, has that 1 strip. The thing is, do you want to strip the Library of Alexandria at this stage in the game? I mean, yes, because he's got 7 in hand. On the other hand, he also has that Tome. He's already drawing more cards than you. You've already been twisted. I mean, maybe you got to keep the strip for something else. Going through the graveyard here. Yeah, Hom of course wants to make, or Sento wants to make this decision before passing the turn, right? If you want to strip the Loa, you want to do it now. You don't want to give Hom another untap and another card with the Sylvan. Sorry, with the Library of Alexandria, I mean. So you want to decide it now, and that's of course one of the reasons that Sento is really taking a moment here. I mean, yeah, it's going here for the live. No, he's going to go for the duel. Yeah. Going to go for the duel. Passes the turn here. Playing out the basic planes himself as well. What I wanted to say is if you have a disenchant in hand, then you could, of course, consider dealing with the Library of Alexandria, disenchanting the Tome, kind of stopping the draw engines. But yeah, if you don't, then maybe this is the better option. Gonna draw another extra card. So again, you see him kind of doing the same trick. So now he can look 5 cards deep. And again, I'm still wondering if it works this way. I'm sure if he's doing it, it works this way. If it does, it's pretty cool. I haven't seen this before. So he's going in 5 cards deep now. And only putting 2 cards back, so it's luxury for Ham, you know. In the card department, he's definitely winning. And the only thing that Sento has got going for him is the life total. Here we see that strip on the City of Brass. Discarding a Gem de Tome, passing the turn. There's a Ruby from the top. Gonna play it out, passing the turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. And now just looking at the top 3, picking a card up. Playing a City of Brass. I wonder... Ooh, is he actually going to tap his City of Brass there? He's putting it to the side. He's going to draw an extra card with the library. Okay, he's going to tap 5, so he's going to take a damage drop to 2. Probably has to use the city for a second white. So that was, of course, one of the reasons for Sento to go for the strip of the Tundra earlier. And Sarah Angel now on the board. Now things could really speed up here. Sarah Angel, of course, representing 4 damage. And look at the libraries, by the way. They're getting really, really thin. If you're a Ham, you got to be careful not to deck yourself. Just drawing 1 card here. Yeah, looking at the amount of cards here. What's that, 6 or 7? I mean, it's more than enough. But I would kind of stop drawing the extra cards here with the Loa. Anyway, there's the attack. Gonna put Sento on 15. Passing the turn. And Sento quickly passes it back to Ham. Yep, picking up a card. Remember, Ham is on 2. There's another attack for 4. Sento drops to 11. So Ham here needs 3 more turns. Gonna discard a card, it seems. Look at that, discarding Ancestral Recall. How funny. Yeah, you're so low in your library, you don't want an Ancestral now. There we see a Serendip Efreet hitting the board. There's a Red Elemental Blast, though, countering the Serendip. The Red Elemental Blasts have been quite good here for Ham in this second game. There's the attack again, so Sento is going to drop to 7. 2 cards in hand for Sento, and yeah, I'm just passing the turn here. I mean, it's as good as over for Sento, but I guess still, you want to play it out. You want to see, can I find an opening? Going to drop to 3 here. 4 cards, I mean, if he has an Ancestral Recall, but then you just don't make it, do you? Look at that Ancestral Recall trying to force... Well, probably he wanted to draw the cards, right? Because if you force Ham to draw those 3, he would still have 1 in the library and win it. Anyway, countering away the Ancestral Recall, and Sento saying, okay, this was the last thing I could do. You've got this game number 2. That means it's 1-1, and we're going to go to an all-decisive game number 3. Game number 3. Here we go. So it's 1-1. And here we see Sento on the play taking a mulligan here. So putting a card on the bottom, starting with 6. Mox Jet into Soul Ring. And there's a Plains and a Balance. What a start. Oh my goodness. Sento, of course, taking the damage here for mana burn. But yeah, wow, what a start. What a start. And that means that Ham, even before he started playing anything out, before his first turn, already has to discard so many cards there. Can only keep 2 cards, I believe. Yeah, and then the Balance in combination with, of course, the mulligan that Sento took. So you're already starting with 6. Then you have that Mox Jet, Soul Ring, and your land drop. It's pretty devastating. Here you can see it, kind of Sento showing it. Yep, started with 6 in hand, but this is what happened. Only 2 left. Look at that. Discarding Black Lotus. Counterspell, Brain Geyser, Sarah Angel, and Swords to Plowshares, and then playing out a dual passing your turn. But there's a Strip Mine from Sento, so there's another Volcanic. So again, both players kind of low on resources, but then again, they're both low on resources, so really going to build up slow. There's a City of Brass, passing their turn. Land and a pass. There's a Mana Drain now in hand there for Sento. That's sorry, for Ham. That's quite good. Sento finding another Plains here. So you're going to try to cast a Sarah Angel, perhaps. There's the Sarah, expecting to see a Mana Drain here. Quick Mana Drain. Ham, of course, is taking a damage from the city, dropping to 19. Yeah, this Mana Drain is quite important. Has 5 mana now. Remember, we are playing with Mana Burn, so does he have something to cast with the 5, or is he just going to take 5 damage? Tapping to City of Brasses. Destroying 2 artifacts here, using one of the mana. Still has 4 floating, though. Cannot use it, so he's going to drop to 13. There's the pass from Sento, also unable to do anything. And also a pass from Ham, so another strip. Look at that. Stripping away the Volcanic, kind of forcing Ham to keep using those City of Brasses. There's a Factory. There's a pass, so that Factory could perhaps start dealing some damage. The question is always, do you want to animate it? It's always risky. If you're going to lose it, is that a big problem, yes or no? And depending on that answer, you have to decide, do you want to animate it? He is animating it, attacking for 2. There we see a Disenchant. He's going to lose the Factory. There we see a dual land here for Ham, passing the turn back to Sento. Sento, 3 cards in hand. Just passing turn, though. No Surrender, for example. But also Ham just passing here. Both players kind of top decking. There we see a Black Lotus. And there's a Surrender Befried. There's a Red Elemental Blast, though. Sacking it. There's a counterspell for the Red Elemental Blast. It's going to drop to 18 because of Mana Burn, but that Surrender seems to stick. And also him, of course, Ham, sorry, took a damage from his own city. He's on 12 now, Sento 18. Gonna tap 2. There's a Sylvan Library. There's a pass. Gonna take a damage here from his own Surrender. Sento dropping to 17. There's the attack. Ham dropping to 9. There's a land text. Okay, we haven't seen that card yet. And it's actually active because Ham is having 4 lands. Sento only 3. I mean, this land text could be pretty important in this match. But let's first see what Ham can find with his Sylvan here. Looking at the top 3 cards. He is on 9, of course, so not really in the position to draw any extra cards. He is going to draw an extra card, though, dropping here to 5. So I assume he's got an answer in that hand for the Surrender Befried. And Sento here picking extra cards with the land tax activation, and of course taking a damage as well from the Surrender, dropping to 16. But first picking up the cards, shuffling. Putting the cards in hand. Drawing for turn. He seems to be forgetting the damage from the Surrender. There's the attack. I believe Ham's on 2 if I track the life totals correctly. That means Sento's in a really good position. There's a Dust to Dust. Taking care of 2 more Moxen. Oh man, and now those City of Brasses. Okay, there is a Swords to Plowshares. Then he would go to 1 though. He's going to tap the city. Oh, he's on a 1. Destroying the Surrender. Sento going back up to 19. Oh, and of course he's putting himself on 20. He forgot to take the damage, so we'll just follow that lifeline. He's on 20. Ham on 1. Oh man, Ham is in such a precarious situation here, being on 1. And look at that, like the City of Brass is all the way there in the left top corner of the screen. Can only use that tropical island here for mana. He's in such a bad position. But hey, as long as you're not dead, just keep playing, of course. Gonna pick another card. I mean... Okay, there is a Gem Day Tome. Yeah, it's looking so good here for Sento. Another City of Brass. You really don't want that. Counterspell, the other card I can't see. Hopefully for Ham, it's kind of like a land that doesn't hurt yourself. Just gonna pick up the Counterspell here. Gonna play out the Plateau. Okay, at least that's something. But now, look at that. Sento can now use again the land tax. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem, of course. What can you do if you're Ham, right? I mean, you need to play lands to do something. Looks like these are the last two basics for Sento. But Sento in such a good spot. I can't see him losing from here. But who knows? Has a surrender there in hand as well. There's another basic. Not playing out the surrender. I'm a little surprised. So wants to keep mana open, I guess, for the Gem de Tome on end step. Prefers to draw that extra card. Gonna draw an extra card here on end step. And now Hom does have 2 blue, and I believe he's got a counter spell in hand as well. So could counter away at least one of the threats if Sento decides to deploy one. There's a Plains. Just a pass though. I guess, you know, if you're Sento, you're like, you know what? I'm drawing an extra card. I've got counter magic in hand. I'm absolutely fine. Also has a Serra Angel there in hand, it seems. Gonna draw another card. Taking his turn. There's another duel. Tapping 3 here. Are we going to see that Surrender Pefreet? There's the Surrender Pefreet. There's a quick counter spell though. Countering away the Surrender. And I mean, I think if you're Sento, you're fine with that. You've got so many cards in hand. You also have that Serra Angel in hand. So it's no big deal. Here we see a red Elemental Blast for Hom. It's going to attack here with the Factory. 2 damage here. Sento dropping to 18. There we see a Strip Mine. An extra card drawn again for Sento on end step there with that Gem de Tome activation. And the Tome has really been good for Sento. Gonna tap 2, Flower Stone. Another land. Is he gonna play out the Serra Angel? That's kind of the question. Gonna tap 3. There's another Surrender. We're probably gonna see that red Elemental Blast. Exactly. Blasting away the Surrender Pefreet. And then there's the Serra Angel as a follow-up. And that Serra's probably going to stick. And I wonder if Hom now has a Swords to Plowshares. Remember, Hom's on 1 life. 1 measly life. There we see an Ancestral Recall. Okay. That could get him closer to a Swords to Plowshares. I believe he's only played on 1. Nope, there it is. Oh, Sento winning here. And I think it was all in the start of the game, wasn't it? That balance was so devastating. And the land tax and just, you know, everything was going in Sento's way in that game 3, despite, of course, the mulligan 9-6. But because of that balance, the mulligan was actually almost a good thing for Sento. So yeah, Sento winning here and also winning their meetup. Congratulations, Sento, for winning the finals here against Hom. Well done with your UW Skies deck. And this was the episode for today. And of course, a big shout out and a big thank you to the guys from Old School from Tokyo who sent me these matches. Thank you so much. And of course, to my friend Nikolai. He's the one who's in touch with me, a Frenchman living in Tokyo, Japan. I think I've said this before. I'm just going to say it again. I think it's so cool that you have there your own like old school meetups, your own community with your, you know, your rules to make everybody feel welcome. I think it's awesome. I love watching the matches from Japan because they're just a little bit different. The play style is different. The rule set's different. I enjoy looking at it. I think it's very interesting. So again, thank you so much. And if you've enjoyed this match as much as I did, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you enjoy seeing more old school matches from Japan, and I'll see what I can do. I'll try to get some more footage for you guys from Tokyo. And of course, before you go, please take a moment to like, share, and comment. All these things are free and really help the channel move forward. And talking about moving forward, you can also become a patron of the show. Check out patreon.com/TimmyTalks to find out how you can become a supporter of the Timmy Talks YouTube channel and help me continue making this content for you. You can already become a supporter for just $1 a month. So please check out patreon.com/TimmyTalks.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning, putting in the longboat until he's sober, putting in the longboat until he's sober, putting in the longboat until he's sober. Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. Rise
just think it is Samba Kazee.